In the days of Gideon, the Israelites turned away from God and worshipped the idols of the nations around them. Because of this, the Lord allowed them to fall into the hands of the Midianites. Together with the Amalekites and other eastern tribes, the Midianites attacked whenever the Israelites tried to farm, stealing their crops, livestock, and produce. The people became so weary and afraid that they hid in caves and mountains.
Gideon was from the clan of Ophrah. One day, to escape the Midianites, he was threshing wheat in a hidden winepress. Suddenly, the angel of the Lord appeared under an oak tree and called out to him, "The Lord is with you, mighty warrior." Startled, Gideon replied, "But sir, if the Lord is with us, why has all this trouble happened? Where are the wonders our fathers told us about? Now it feels like the Lord has abandoned us." But the Lord said, "Go in the strength you have, and save Israel from Midian's hand. Am I not sending you?" Gideon felt weak and unworthy, reminding God that he was from the smallest clan and the least in his family. But the Lord promised, "I will be with you." To confirm, God gave Gideon a sign. When he offered food on a rock, fire came from heaven and consumed it. Gideon knew then that it was truly the Lord. For leading Israel, Gideon had to prove his loyalty. One night, as God commanded, Gideon tore down his father's altar to Baal and cut down the Asherah pole beside it. He built a new altar to the Lord and offered a sacrifice. The townspeople wanted to kill him, but his father Joash defended him. "If Baal is a god, let him defend himself." From that day, Gideon was nicknamed Jerubbaal. Let Baal contend with him. Gideon asked God for 2 more signs. One night, he laid out a fleece of wool. In the morning, only the fleece was wet with dew while the ground was dry. The next night, the opposite happened. The fleece was dry, but the ground was covered in dew. Gideon was assured that God would indeed give him victory. When the Midianites and their allies gathered in the valley, Gideon called his people to fight. 32,000 men came. But God told Gideon, "You have too many men. If Israel wins now, they will boast, saying, 'My own strength saved me.'" First, Gideon allowed anyone who was afraid to leave. 22,000 men went home, only 10,000 remained. But God said, "There are still too many." So Gideon took them to the water. Most knelt to drink, but 300 men scooped water with their hands, staying alert. God said, "With these 300 men I will save you." The rest were sent home. That night, God gave Gideon courage. He crept to the Midianite camp and overheard a soldier telling a dream. A round loaf of barley bread rolled into camp and struck a tent, overturning it. The soldier's friend said, "This can only mean Gideon. God has given Midian into his hands." Encouraged, Gideon worshiped the Lord and returned to his men. He divided the 300 into 3 groups, gave each man a trumpet and a clay jar with a torch hidden inside. At midnight, they surrounded the camp. On Gideon's signal, they broke the jars, raised their torches, blew the trumpets, and shouted, "A sword for the Lord and for Gideon." Suddenly, flames and noise filled the night. Confused and terrified, the Midianites turned on each other with their swords. They fled, and Gideon's forces chased them down. Israel won a great victory. Gideon's triumph did not come from military strength or strategy. It was the Lord's power and plan. God does not need large armies. He works through faith and obedience. Gideon's story reminds us that the Lord can use ordinary people who trust him. After this victory, Israel enjoyed peace for 40 years under Gideon's leadership. His story still stands as a powerful example of courage, trust, and God's perfect timing.